Well, hello there. Retro PC Durham here with another video. Try something a little bit different here. I want to put together kind of a series of videos here, and maybe a little bit of, I don't know, could be a little bit of ASMR involved as well, tech ASMR. And the plan here is what I'm going to do is I want to build a machine and show the put together part of it. Anyways, what makes this special, even though I don't necessarily have all the best parts for it because they're kind of hard to come by, basing it all on stuff that I get people to donate to me for free, is I want to build a machine to play like Windows 98 games. Now I don't have era specific, right? I don't have 95 to 2000 era specific hardware. But we're going to do the best with what we have. So I just want to show off the pieces that I've got and what I'm going to do. And then I want to do a couple of videos in sequence showing the assembly. So starting off here, what we're going to put together, I got this system board that I chose here. This is an Asus P4S333. This is a LGA 478 board. Now this is the oldest boards I have are LGA 478, which means it's all Pentium 4 stuff, right? Or Celeron era. Most of these that I get donated are useless because it's the era of bad capacitors, but I do have a couple that are still okay. This one I felt was probably the most oldest or basic or bare bones in terms of the design, right? It doesn't have any capability. There's no onboard video card on this, so I have to use a video card. It does have AGP. For video, it's got dip switches on it to set the some processor connectivity. So I thought, hey, you know what, this is going to be okay. I'm gonna go with this board and see if I can make it work. Now, I don't think, if I remember correctly, I have tested this, so I do know it works, which is a good start. That at least I know the motherboard is going to work. So that's going to be the first piece. Next up, we have to choose our processor. So I do have some LGA 478 compatible processors here. 4 of these are Intel Pentium 4, and one of them is an Intel Celeron D. So what my idea was, I wanted to take whatever processor here was the oldest and put that in here so I can have the the lowest performance. So my thought was to choose this, possibly this Intel Celeron processor, this Celeron D, but there was another one in here, if I still have it, that I wanted to try out first, and I wanted to see if it's still here. Is it this one? No. Is it this one? No. Where is it? Maybe it is the Celeron here. One of these 4 processors had bent pins, and I wanted to see if I could straighten the pins on it. Yeah, I think it's this one. This Pentium 4 is a 1.5 gigahertz. I think that's why I chose it over the Celeron. Yeah, this Celeron is a 2.53 gigahertz. So this Pentium 4 here is a SL59V. So it's from 2001, and it's a 1.5 gigahertz, 400 megahertz front side bus processor, and it's got some bent pins on it. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to use a mechanical pencil, which can go and fit over top of the pins here, and see if I can straighten them all out. And if so, we're going to test to see. I don't know if this works. So we're going to try and straighten the pins. We're going to test it out in the board. And if it works, we're going to use this processor because it's the slowest of all of these. And I really want to get, the lower processor capacity to be able to make this thing as close to the performance that you would expect from an older PC. I mean, ideally, if I had an older board that maybe had a Pentium 2 or a Pentium 3, would be much better. But it is what it is. Next up, to make sure that we have good quality for running a Windows 98 sound system, is I'm not going to use the onboard audio on the system board here because it's going to be some kind of cheap audio controller that's probably not going to work in DOS. So I'm going to use this Creative Sound Blaster Live. It's a CT4780. I did look up online for the Sound Blaster cards that I do have from my donations. This one seemed to be really strong in terms of the driver set that's available for it. So we're going to put this in and use that for our audio. For graphics, again, I don't have a lot of older graphics cards, but I looked up and saw this GeForce 2 MX series cards, they do have pretty good Windows 98 drivers. So I'm hoping that this one's going to make sense and it's going to work really well for what we want to run in terms of these older games. Memory-wise, I'm just using a simple 256 gig stick. This is the smallest. I have a 128 gig as well, but I know that based on what Windows can handle, I think it's 192 gig memory is optimal. So I'm just going to go with the 256 and see how it goes. I only need the one stick. I don't have anything smaller in terms of this size. This board only has DDR support. I do have another board that has SD-RAM support. But it's got like onboard video controllers and stuff as well, and I really want to minimize what's on board. For storage, I am going to do something I've never done before, is I bought this a while ago, this adapter, which is the IDE to SD card adapter. So I'm going to give this a try. I've never actually used this before, but I've heard really good things about these. And I just took a 1 gig SD card that I've got lying around from an old webcam, and we're going to try this out for our storage. Now, I thought this was going to be convenient as well, is because once I get Windows installed on this, which I am going to do standard with a CD, I can pull this out and stick it in my computer, and I can copy over all the drivers that I need for these. Because I went and pre-downloaded all the drivers for all of these components, but instead of having to worry about putting them on a CD or worrying about trying to get USB drivers to work to be able to plug in, I can just pull this out, stick it in my laptop, put a folder on the laptop that's got the information that I need on it for drivers, put it back in, boot up the system, and now I can install all the drivers for the components. So hopefully that's going to work. That's in my head. My theoretical head says that that's the way it's going to go. For floppy drives, I'm going to try out this LS120 Super Drive. Now, I remember back in the day, the first computer I ever built for myself in 1997 or 1998, I believe. It might have been later than that. Maybe it was closer to 2000, actually. Anyways, it was an AMD K62 based machine. And I originally had a floppy drive in it, but then I replaced it with an LS120 Super Drive. I had 2 LS120 Super Drive disks that I used to back up my important files, but I always liked the fact that these drives actually run and read floppy disks a lot faster than a standard floppy disk drive can. So we're going to give this a try and see if it works. I believe, if I remember correctly, when I was checking out this system board, this is one of the 2 or 3 of these older LG 478 system boards that has LS120 drive boot support, which is not necessarily something that was available all over the place. So I'm going to try that out. If it doesn't work, I've got lots of regular floppy drives, and there is a floppy controller on this that we can try as well. Next up, we're going to put in a standard CD-ROM drive. So we don't need DVD or anything like that. So we got this LG 52 speed. Obviously, this is a lot faster than we need it to be, but this is from 2001. So again, it's not too late in the career of Windows 98 SE. Power supply. I've got this no-name brand, MJ, model LC-5, LG/B or -B 450E. So this is a 450 watt power supply. Puts down a max here of 422 watts as the actual usable. So this is more than enough power to be able to go through here that we'll be able to connect up all of our devices. We've got I got lots of these ribbon cables in a box, so we've grabbed a couple ribbon cables to use. And then we've got this beautiful compact keyboard that I did some summer brightening with. It's still a little bit pale. It's still a little bit yellowed on the side here, but I brought most of the brightness back just with some sunshine. So we're going to use that. And then I managed to grab off another donation earlier last year, this compact ball mouse to match up with it. So we've got this pair that we're going to do. Now what I'd like to show you is what all this stuff is going to go into. Okay, so let me show you this case. This is, again, could be considered a no-name brand case. So this case right here says powered by Asus. I think that this may be like early on when Asus maybe was first getting into, I don't know if they were trying to make computers at the time. I don't remember them ever selling cases. So I don't know if this is a generic case and it just had the Asus sticker on it that maybe came with an Asus motherboard. But this is an older style tower case. It's pretty interesting design, right? We've got the system board space here with lots of room for a large board, which the one I have here is. And then it's got this side load here for the power supply, which is kind of cool. And the power supply actually has its own mounting brackets. So we're going to install, I've gone ahead and put the thumb screws on here, as any cool tower, any cool computer case should have thumb screws instead of regular screws, of course. So take a look inside here. We've got lots of room. It's got a speaker available. There's room for some extra fans if I think I need to put some cooling in. Lots of room for peripheral devices. Our CD-ROM drive will fit in here. We'll have room for our LS120 drive, and then we'll mount the SD card somewhere. And then room inside. And then again, this has this bracket with a little tiny thumb screw. And this kind of, look at this, kind of slides out. It's a little wonky in terms of the way the teeth work, and I'm not sure if it's just aid or it's just to make sure that it secures. But then it's got this bracket here to mount the power supply. So it's, you mount the power supply to this, and then this slides in and goes into place. It's a lot of extra tooling that probably isn't really necessary, but it is what it is. So yeah, that's the case. We'll push this back on, and then I got one more thing I want to show you on how this system is going to go together. And really, I think was probably the thing when I picked this up that made me think, yeah, I should probably make a system to see how this all goes together. So let's take a look at that. So here we go. This is the pièce de résistance. This Gold Star Studio Works 5D. This is, I believe, either a 14 or 15-inch CRT screen with integrated stereo speakers. I'm really excited, and it's got a microphone too, and it's got all the cables ready to go. I'm really excited about getting this whole thing put together, building this Windows 98 style PC, and then having this monitor to match up with it to make a complete system. Really excited about this. I have not even tested this monitor yet, so when we do get this thing built and plugged in and turned on, the first time it will have been turned on will be a smoke test. So hope that you're excited for that when that comes up at the final video of this series. So again, I hope you're interested in this. I'm excited about it. We're going to put this machine together. We're going to try and get that CPU working. We're going to hope that everything's going to go together properly. We're going to do the full build, install, driver pack install, get everything up and running, and then we'll try some games out. I know for one thing, I want to play Shadow Warrior for sure. One of my favorite games from this era of computers, and then I'm going to see, while I'm building this stuff out, if I can find a couple of the older games that I used to play during that time period as well, and we maybe try a couple of those too. So hope you're interested in this. I know I am, and yeah, I'm really excited about it. So thanks for tuning in. If you like this stuff, please subscribe to see more. I try to put a video out every Friday. Either building these old computers for donations that run Windows 10, or when I come across some of these older systems that are more of a pet project type of thing, I want to do some more of these on the channel as well. Hope you are all staying safe and healthy still out there during this crazy time, and we will catch you in the next one.